Hey y'all, if y'all love a good casserole, stay tuned. I've got 3 quick, easy, and delicious ones for you. This video is a part of a Cozy Casserole collab hosted by my sweet friend Sammi at Managing the Maze. And I will have her channel linked below as well as the playlist and all the recipes. You got to go check out her channel. She has a wonderful channel. She's a great cook. She does grocery hauls, recipes, day in the life videos. She just does a little bit of everything. So make sure you go check out her channel and like and subscribe. Okay, y'all, I am simmering my potatoes. You could either do this or you could cut them up, mix them with ranch, and bake them in the oven, but I am just going the quick route since you can probably tell from my voice, I have had a cold. It's not flu and it's not COVID, so it's just an old-fashioned cold, I guess. But I've had something going on for the last month, so I want to put this together quick and easy. And I have got some ranch dressing here, and I've got some home canned chicken. I am trying to keep it easy and simple tonight. Also, I'm on the January Pantry challenge, trying to use what I have, so that's another reason why I am using imitation bacon bits. That's all I have. I don't have any bacon right now, so that's what I'm going to top this with. And I'm also using some cheddar jack cheese, and that's about it. It does call for a green onion, but I don't have one, so I might just go ahead and put chives in it. I do have some chives. All right, y'all, the potatoes are drained, and now I'm going to pour some ranch dressing on it. And this is almost 2 cups, so I'm just going to pour enough on there to coat the potatoes. And you want to be generous. You do not want to skimp on the ranch dressing. You want it to coat every piece of potato, but you don't want it to be really soupy. So this is perfect. So I have sprayed my baking dish. This is just a small baking dish, so I'm going to go ahead. I sprayed it with the cooking spray, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in the dish. And I'm just going to go ahead and dump the chicken into the ranch. That way I can get all that ranch dressing out of there, and it will combine with my chicken. So I'm going to put the chicken in there, and then I'm going to mix it with the potatoes. So what I like to do is not cover it with cheese just yet. I'm going to cover it and put it in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until everything gets heated up. Then I'll put the cheese on there and stick it in there until the cheese is melted. Right, it is almost done. So I'm going to put my cheese on top. And I'm using pepper jack, but you can use any kind of cheese you would like. I always use different cheeses every time because whatever I have on hand, I just use it. But pepper jack is really good on there. And I'm just going to put some bacon bits on the top. Whatever you like on your baked potato, you can put on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this back in there and let the cheese melt. All right, y'all. It's done. I'm going to go in the fridge and get the ranch dressing and some sour cream and put it on this baby. We're going to eat. We've even made it with steak. Just make it the same way with some steak. It is so good. All right, tonight's casserole is an easy Crescent taco bake. And it's really, really easy and so good. And I've got some chicken here. I'm using my canned chicken, of course. And I will have the exact recipe linked down below, but I am just going to change it up a little bit, you know. But I'm using chicken instead of beef because it is almost 7:30 and I don't have time to brown some ground beef. I'm using my home canned chicken. Just like I said, this is a lifesaver when you come home from work and you're tired and you don't want to cook a whole lot of stuff. This chicken is definitely something you need on your shelf. But I've got the chicken here. It's about 1 large breast or 1.5 smaller breast. And I'm going to add in some salsa. I'm using my home canned salsa. And I use about half of that jar. So that's about a cup, a little over a cup. But like I said, you'll see the recipe down below. And I am using some taco seasoning. that is about it. And my taco, my salsa already has the peppers and the onions, and it also has jalapeno peppers in it because this is the jalapeno salsa. So I am going to add a little bit of chicken broth just because my salsas tend to be a little bit more dry when you can them. They're not as juicy. So I'm going to go ahead and heat that up. And while I'm heating that up, I have got one crescent roll, and I've just mashed it into my pan. And I'm going to bake mine just a few minutes. So while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven and bake it for just maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And I've also got some cheese. I'm going to add that to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the oven. All right, it's been in there about 5 minutes. So now I'm going to go ahead and scoop all the chicken in there. I've let it simmer for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to add it straight to the crescent dough. And I think I probably will have enough for another day, and I could make tacos with this. Or I could always freeze it and use it for tacos another time. So I think that is good. You just want to pile it to the rim. You want to go over that. So now I'm going to put some cheese on there. And all I had was mozzarella and sharp cheddar. But if I hadn't used up all my pepper jack, that's what I'd be using. All right, I'm going to put this in the oven for about 15 minutes until everything's nice and bubbly. Everything's pretty much done. Just the crescent roll needs to cook a little bit longer. And you won't believe how good this is, and it comes together in no time. So I'm going to pop it in the oven, and we'll come back. Took about 15 minutes. All right, and what I'm going to top it with, I've got some cilantro. I had a whole bunch in the refrigerator, but half of it went bad, but I got to save half of it, so I'm going to use that. I've got a little bit of cheese left, and I cut up some lettuce. And I have avocado that's kind of going bad, so I'm going to use that. All right, y'all, ain't she pretty? Who needs Taco Bell? 30 minutes, I have a delicious casserole here, y'all. This is a whole complete taco dinner in one plate. I don't even need rice or anything to go with it. I have got lettuce, cheese on there, some cilantro, some pieces of avocado, and I've got some salsa on the top and sour cream. Can't beat that. 30-minute meal, and it's so delicious, y'all. Y'all got to try it. The recipe calls for you to make it in a pie dish. I would not, because it's so hard to cut if you put it in a round dish. So that's why I always put it in a casserole dish. So I hope you enjoy the recipe. I'll have it linked down below. So this is another delicious Taco Tuesday casserole recipe. All right, y'all, this last casserole is an unstuffed shell recipe, and I do not like the stuffed shells, so this is right up my alley. Plus, I had these shells, I had bought them to make macaroni and cheese, like shells macaroni and cheese, but they were a little bit too big, so I thought this was the perfect way to use them up. And I measured 4 cups, so that's everything that I had in that box, so I got to use that up. I used this Parmesan Romano for the shredded in the recipe, and I used this container of whipped cream cheese. That way I didn't have to soften it, and I had that whole thing in there. It's 8 ounces, which what the recipe calls for. It also calls for this Rayo's, and look, I got that for $2.99 at a salvage store. That was a great deal, but that's what we're going to use today. I ground some ground beef, and I cooked an onion. You're supposed to mix the sauce in there with it, but I'm trying to season my pan, so I just wanted that grease. I didn't want to put any sauce in there. So when the shells get done, I'll mix everything together and then simmer it. In this bowl here, I have an egg, I have softened cream cheese, I have Parmesan cheese in here. I'll have the whole recipe linked down below. I've got salt and pepper, and I've got some Italian seasoning in there. The grandkids are here terrorizing the place, so you're going to hear some background noise. Sorry about that, but I did put a little bit of this in there too, the Parmesan cheese, because it's so good. So I'm waiting on my noodles. That's 4 cups of noodles. I am kind of varying the recipe, and I don't have ricotta cheese, which the recipe calls for. I changed the recipe a little bit. I took the noodles, the sauce, and the ground beef, mixed it up, took half of that and put it in the pan, topped it with the cheese mixture, and took the other half and put it on top. Now I'm just going to layer it with some mozzarella cheese. And then I'll add some of the Parmesan on top as well. I covered it with some Parmesan and the mozzarella, so the recipe says to cover it with foil and bake it for 30 to 40 minutes. All right, y'all, she's out of the oven. She's looking and smelling good. So I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. I think it would be good with spinach too. I would add that to it next time. Y'all, all three of these casseroles were delicious. So quick and easy to make. You've got to try all these recipes. And I want to thank Sammi for hosting. I will have her channel linked down below as well as the playlist. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next video.